Another very powerful visual element that you can add to Word documents is SmartArt. And SmartArt is something new with Word 2007. And the way that you add SmartArt, and you can add SmartArt to other types of documents as well, they especially come in handy in PowerPoint. So if you are using Word most of the time, but every once in a while need to create a PowerPoint presentation, this might be the most powerful PowerPoint lesson as well. So this is a little bonus for you. But it is adding SmartArt once again. And again, we'll start with a selection of an insertion point. Typically, when you're inserting SmartArt here, as you'll see, if you haven't seen SmartArt before, you're going to want a little bit of space because it can put a lot of meaning with not very much words. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is a picture worth 1,000 words, that old saw. So, at any rate, here we are. Go to the Insert tab in your ribbon and click on SmartArt here. It will bring up a SmartArt graphic dialog box here, and as you can see, there are lots of SmartArt choices to choose from here, broken down into processes, cycles, hierarchy. So if you're building an org chart for your company, you want to diagram some kind of process of information flow or cash flow throughout your company, you can do that with a process. So I'll narrow it down to my process choices here, and let's choose, let's do this one here. And then OK, continuous block process. So an arrow with 3 blocks of text. Now, there's a couple ways to insert text and start to build this SmartArt diagram here. I'm just going to use very simple stuff. A to B to C, or to A plus B is $, something like that. So as you can see, this SmartArt by default fits the entire width of the page like this. So of course you'll be able to change that by just clicking and dragging the edges of the SmartArt that you have, and clicking and dragging will bring things down in relatively in proportion. Bring it in from the sides like this, or from one of the corners, shrinks the whole thing. You can expand it if you want to, like so. Also, if you notice, the SmartArt tools now are loaded up in the ribbon for you with 2 sub-tabs, Design tab and a Format tab. If you click on the Format tab, you can resize your SmartArt manually, height and width, and you can just kind of click up and down these scroll arrows here to increase the width. But again, I think it's probably going to be easier for you to just kind of eyeball things. Now, that's just one example of a process. You then can change the word art styles in each one of the dialog boxes, not dialog boxes, but technically text boxes that you have. Each SmartArt will be formatted a little bit differently, and some of the options will change just depending on what you have. But what I think you should focus on is this Design tab of the SmartArt. So if you want to quickly change to different SmartArt styles, a subtle effect, you have a whole gallery of SmartArt styles. You can make things look 3D like this. You can really wang it up there with brick scenes and lay it flat and make it go up like that. So, choose as you see fit here. You can also change the colors. Again, the live preview comes into play, and this is just flat out cool in my estimation. It's a great way to communicate ideas, information without using a whole lot of verbiage. Now, you can also edit the text, as I mentioned. You can just click in any of these text elements here, and again, it will depend on what layout you selected. Oh, and by the way, in your layouts, you can just change your layout all you want to. Choose different layouts from your layout gallery. You also have a little text box, if that closes, see this little area here on the side, this little tab that sticks out from the SmartArt text box here. Click on it, and then you can add stuff manually, including you can add additional areas just by hitting return. So you're essentially turning a bullet point list here into something a lot more visually pleasing. So A plus B plus C equals the $signs there, and then put this away. Another thing you can do is you can right click. If you right click on an element, a lot of times you'll be able to add a shape, and you can add a shape before or add a shape after. So A plus B plus Z. Perfect. So you get the idea. You can also, in this particular example, go up to the Create Graphic and change the arrow right to left and left to right. So these are the things you can do with SmartArt, a very powerful way, once again, to create pictures out of text.